Hey guys, this is Nick with EDC Mag, and today I want to talk about the Olamic Cutlery Wayfarer 247. Before we get into that, I want to talk a little bit about this cool beard comb. This is the Beard Beautifier, made by Marshall Noble of Noble Knives. Now, both of the makers we're talking about today are out of California, which is a nice change, actually, to talk about some makers that aren't out of Canada for for something different. Marshall is Noble Knives. He's a one-man shop. Very cool guy. I've talked to him on many occasions, and about a year ago, I was on the hunt for a nice beard comb, and I was very shocked to find how little there actually was in the market. I mean, it didn't make a lot of sense to me. Now, since then, there have been some really cool, lot cooler options put out on the market. But at that time, I was really frustrated. I was coming up very short on what I was looking for, and I was familiar with Marshall and Noble Knives, and I knew of his products. And he threw this out on his Facebook page, and the guy that he had made it for ended up backing out at the last minute, so it just came up for sale, and the second I saw it, I snagged it. So it is, I've had it for, I don't know, a good at least year, I'd say. It's just a really, really super nice comb. Now, Marshall, he's been making knives full-time since about 2013. He makes some really cool knives. Just recently, Kaiser approached him about one of his knives. He's got a knife called the Vindicator, which is a really nice frame lock, and they are coming out. Kaiser is. It should be released any time, actually, here any moment. It's on like Blade HQ and Knife Center. It's on their page, just waiting for release. So there's not a price on it yet, but so he's got a knife coming out with Kaiser. He's got a lot of other models that he does, fixed blades. He makes a lot of different stuff, a lot of cool things. He makes these really cool chainmail lanyards. Just a very, very creative guy, and a super nice guy too. But when I saw this, I had to have it. It's copper scales. It's an inlaid marbled carbon fiber. The back spacer, the clip, and the comb itself are all titanium, and they are a stone washed blurple, so kind of a blue purple. Now you can see it has faded a little bit since I got it, and I've had it a while. The copper's patinaed nicely. I love a good patina on copper. And what he told me was this particular Beard Beautifier was the first time that he had ever attempted inlays, and I gotta tell you, for first time, and that's just, it's like glass. I mean, it's just smooth. There's no transition whatsoever. Just a really super cool folding comb. Just really nice. I think you can pick these up. It really totally depends on, like anything custom, it's going to depend on materials. But it makes sense to me, you know, these guys like myself that are out there spending, you know, 500,000, couple thousand, whatever, however much on knives. There should be some better options for beard combs rather than the cheap crap that you find on Amazon and eBay and Etsy and everywhere else that I looked, and it's all kind of mostly the same crap. Now, like I said, there's better options now than there were. I think we just came out with something that's kind of cool. Now, Microtech has that $300 thing they had that it just didn't make sense to me. All that gook inside in a mechanism, it comes out of your beard. no thanks. But this is cool. So hey, if you guys get an opportunity, check out Noble Knives on his website. Check out Noble Knives on Facebook. He's on IG. If you're looking for a really cool beard comb, he'll make you one. These things are just really nice. So there you go, Noble Knives. All right, let's talk about this Olamic. Now this is Olamic Cutlery. They're out of California. They're a family-owned business. They've been around since 2010. They've been making folders since 2013. They started out making fixed blades, and their fixed blades all come out of Russia. And something I didn't know is they actually forged their own Damascus, and they started using their own Damascus. It's a vanadium-based steel. It's called they call it HCVD, I believe. And they're using their own Damascus in their folders as well. And man, they just make some stunning stuff. Now this knife in particular, I came across it was used, and the guy was like, yeah, it's got some scratches, but on the blade, but you know, he played it down a lot, and I actually debated whether I would even review this thing, but I went ahead and got it. And yeah, so it looks like someone has carried this in their pocket, and some change got down into the knife. I don't know how it got scratched the way it did, but the scales are not scratched. The scales are great, but something got into this blade and just quite literally rubbed it the wrong way. The knife, however, I mean, it's a beautiful knife, and Olamic, man, they're doing some super cool stuff with their scales on a lot of their models. And you know, Olamic started about $400 and go up from there, but they've got some engraved carvings on their scales that are just absolutely phenomenal. I mean, just very unique in the marketplace, and completely outstanding. They've got several models, and this is a 3.5-inch model. It's M390. Now this 24/7, I know it's been out for a couple of years, and some guys have raved about it in the past, and it's a nice knife. Now, one cool thing about this too is it's, you know, Lamech is an American company. They do have their parts cut with a company in Italy, so it's kind of rare to find a company that doesn't use a Chinese manufacturer to cut parts, and Olamic actually uses an Italian-based company to cut their parts. They bring them back to California and do all the fit, finish, assembly, all the final everything on them, customizing, whatever the case may be. So it is a true mid-tech. Now this knife is 3.5 inches long. It's M390. It's titanium. It's bearings. It's got, what I really like here is the roller ball clip. Those are always really nice. They do make a world of difference going in and out of your pocket. And I just like this clip design. It's just very aesthetically pleasing. As far as the weight goes, now you can look these up. I mean, it is a mid-tech, so the specs are out there. 3.5, just shy of 3.5 inches. I believe they said it's 5 ounces. So there you go, 5 ounces. Oh, let's see what the beardalizer weighs, as long as we got it out here. A little over 4 ounces. Cool. All right. So we got a 5-ounce knife. Now, for me, this knife again is a little small, but I've been considering knives that I normally wouldn't consider. I know this knife has already been reviewed 1,000 times on YouTube, so I'm not going to tell you anything that if you've seen reviews on them that you're not going to already know. A couple of things that I noticed about this, and again, this is nothing against the knife, and these scratches, you know, it's frustrating, but you know, it is a knife. That's what they're for. I wish it was in better shape for the sake of the review. But honestly, this is a knife now you can just take and go, hey, it looks good, it's beautiful, but I'm not going to screw it up because somebody already took care of that for me. I mean, it's, you know, it's already, it's the blade's centered, the action is fantastic on it. There's no issue with the functionality whatsoever. Has the blue hardware. Just it's overall a beautiful knife. Now, in my research, I've known of Olamic, but I haven't paid a tremendous amount of attention. The blade shape and the scale shape, I don't know, for whatever reason, aesthetically, it just didn't really speak to me. But what they're doing with the engraving and some of the stuff on the scale, some of that stuff is amazing. And at Blade this year, they announced 2 new models that are just absolutely stunning, and I'm excited about. So I would say there's definitely later on this year there's going to be an Olamic custom in my future, because not only are they stunning, but they're also a 4-inch blade. So with this, we'll use our old standard Kershaw, kind of give you an idea. The blade really isn't that tall. I mean, it's not thin, but it's not overly tall. So you got a 3.5 and 3.25, somewhat comparable as far as the thickness in the scale. A couple of things that I noticed about this: smaller knives, you know, as I've mentioned before, they get lost in your hand, and a lot of times what you'll do before you deploy is you'll brace that knife in the palm of your hand before you hit the trigger. With the Olamic, because of the shape back here, it's so rounded that you can't really, it just slides. So you've got to vice grip it up here to deploy. And again, 3.5 inches, you know, for most guys that's ideal, and maybe even just slightly still a little bigger. Some guys would consider that a tank for EDC. Personally, I don't. It's nothing against the knife. It's just, for me, you know, it's just that right there frustrates me. Now, if this was a 4-inch blade and you could brace it differently when it was deployed, it'd be a different story, I think. It's nothing against the knife. It's just my personal preference. The other thing I noticed is the trigger it's definitely a pull trigger, and it seems a little bit bigger than necessary. I'm not sure why it's so obtrusive, but I mean, definitely functional. And the lanyard hole is very pronounced, which this lanyard is going to be run down into your pocket when it's tucked, just because of the placement. Design choice, I'm sure. This, I'm not sure the point of at all. There's no way to get my thumb in that. I mean, there's no spider flick on it. There's no thumb flip. So my guess is that's just an added design feature. Overall, though, I mean, there's nothing wrong with it. It's a beautiful knife. I personally doubt I'll ever own another one of this model. However, as far as Olamic goes, I do like the company. I'm impressed with the company. I love some of their new designs. I'm excited about some of their new stuff coming out. If I come across, or when I come across, a different model, preferably they do make some 4 inches. I mean, the Wayfarer line varies quite a bit, and they do have some bigger models. And if I get a chance, I will definitely try one, because I think overall, from a quality standpoint, these things are just fantastic. Again, they start about $400, depending on how they're made and what's done to them. They go up 5, 6, 7, 8 from there. But they are just, they're a beautiful knife. Very easy to carry. Carries very well. So there you go. Not necessarily for me, but that doesn't mean anything. That's just my personal preference. So if you get a chance, check out Olamic if you haven't already. Most people probably already have, but if you're looking at one, that's kind of where I'm at with it. It's there's just not a good, comfortable way to feel. One thing I did notice is just kind of the way it is in your hand. This almost feels like a trigger right here, just because the way your hand hits it. So you can get a good grip on it, but at the same time, you know, it's just, I don't know, it's just not big enough. That's just plain and simple. That's it for me. So check out Olamic. Check them out. They're everywhere. They've been around. They get around. They've got great distributors. They've got great stuff on IG. Their website. They're pretty easy to find. And then check out Noble Knives. If you're looking for a knife or a beard comb, he makes some awesome stuff. Good guy. Both California makers. Both great people. There you go. Hey guys, this is Nick with EDC Mag. I appreciate you guys watching. If you haven't subscribed, please do. We're just getting started. We're having a lot of fun. And until next time, have a great one.